The Chronicle thanks our 2023 Meet the Candidates sponsors, Flossmoor Station Restaurant and Brewery, Jonathan Kane Salon and Spa, and Tom Braybeck Law Office. With their help, HF voters will be well informed on Election Day, April 4th.
I am Cece, Belue, and I am running for Village of Homewood Board of Trustees. One of the biggest reasons I want to run is I love living in our community, and I would love an opportunity to continue representing our community from a leadership perspective. I have been engaged in this community in a lot of different capacities. Those of you that know me know that I've been on the library board, PMA, PTA, strategic planning committees, Foundation 153, which I am still currently a part of, and just another avenue, another capacity for service. One of the things I know that we're hoping to achieve is an eclectic mix of businesses so that we are supporting our mom and pop shops. It's one of the things that people really love about Homewood. Personally, it's one of the things that drew me to Homewood, the community, the small town feel that we have. I know that big box stores are a service to us when we need to have the convenience of being able to go to kind of a one-stop shop. And so we have to have a mix of those things. One of the things I think that Homewood gets right is we don't want to see businesses leave, but when they do, there's usually a proactive measure to immediately start thinking about other businesses that can go into that space. A lot of talking with residents and engaging them to see what types of businesses they would like to have here. We're looking to diversify, particularly the small businesses, and to make sure that we have enough businesses that are kind of paying into our tax base so that we can continue to provide the services that we do. Well, if we don't have sales tax generators, it makes it difficult for us to do the things that we need to do in the village. We have our public works, our fire department, police department, some of the festivals and kind of more of the softer part of this village that you can see, and then there's the things behind the scenes that you can't see, and those things oftentimes we can't see them because they run pretty seamlessly, but we have to have the revenue in order to be able to do that. As with most representative government, there's a mix of stakeholders that give input. And so while I do understand that there are some residents and even business owners that don't necessarily care for the way that transit-oriented development is going, there are a good number of residents that are seeking to have other opportunities, maybe for new families to draw in new families to our community, other ways to have people spend money, other reasons why they would want to spend money. So we have to kind of strike a balance. Change is hard. I think sometimes it's harder for those that have benefited from the change and maybe not seeing the opportunity to allow someone else to benefit. So I think that's a fantastic question. And I think the short answer for me would be we really don't know, to be honest. I think we are moving forward with plans that were laid out, and then we're kind of in the works prior to the pandemic hitting. And I do think we have to continue to evolve and adjust when we find that things aren't working, but it's hard to say right now. I want to start by saying I have young children too, and the safety for pedestrians, for cyclists is a concern of my family. I've seen it, and I would agree that we don't need to just focus on main arteries, but I think that maybe if we're kind of centralizing our focus there to begin with, it can help us filter into school safety and especially areas around Willow and Churchill. I've seen with my own eyes how there are people who may blatantly just disregard the safety of our residents, especially our young children. I know that there's usually a police presence there to support that. I know that the village has sought the input of multiple stakeholders to figure out what solutions are, and they're working through a number of solutions until we come up with several that work best. And some of that is contingent upon funding or the way that we'll be able to do it. We are seeking grants, so hopefully that money will help us. I do know that our police department and the village are reaching out to other communities to see how they have solved some of those problems. So it's not an easy fix, but it can't stop us from making the efforts to keep everybody safe. So one of the things is I make myself approachable. I'd like to think, unless someone can tell me differently, that, you know, if you walk up to me, you will be welcomed to ask things, even difficult questions. I know that we're residents. We all have our perspectives, our unique perspectives on our village and life in general. So being approachable, I know that Mayor has a Saturday kind of open house sort of deal going on every Saturday. Social media has been a way that people engage, and that's not as personable as being in person. However, residents are allowed, or anybody really, is allowed to engage online about the different events and the different issues that we have going on. You can come see us every other Tuesday. The meetings are open, and I love to hear from residents. I love to hear concerns, and I think it's a great position to be in, to be able to hear people and allow them to feel seen and heard. That's super important. So the questions that I get asked most are related to safety and speeding and traffic. I don't get a whole lot of other questions. I think that may be because of my interactions as a parent. I have young children, and a lot of the conversations that I have are with parents of young children as well. So those were the bulk of it: economic development, safety, community engagement. But I'd also like us to be forward-thinking and how to interact and engage with community members with unique circumstances and diverse circumstances, and not wait until we have an issue where maybe our local authorities or a family is in a hot button issue, just to seek ways to make sure that people feel represented, they feel heard, they feel that we're advocating for lots of different circumstances. So I'd like us to think about maybe how we can do that in the future, if that means pulling a committee together or having meetings. There is not one in particular. I think one of the things that I would like to do is see us be proactive and not wait for there to be one. I am grateful for the opportunity. I'm so thankful that people have trusted me to do this as long as they have, and I would be ecstatic to have an opportunity to do it again. So